Hi children, good morning and welcome back to physics class. In the previous session, we discussed the force in different forms. According to Newton's laws, it is given by F is equal to ma. It is a very well known equation. F is equal to ma. We can replace this acceleration in different ways. Namely, how is it? Observe this. This F can also be written as F is equal to m into dv by dt. Nothing but acceleration can be replaced with rate of change of velocity. Fine. In other words, this can also be written as F is equal to v into dm by dt. So, what is the difference? Here velocity is varying with respect to time, this one. In the other case, velocity remains constant, but the mass is varying with respect to time. This is another case. In this class, I am going to give the two variations where velocity remains constant and where mass remains constant. Mass remains constant is general concept. Now, how this mass is varying in different. Now, I am going to give this example. For this, you consider the problem. Coming to the problem, a rocket of mass 6000 kg, how much? What is the mass? 6000 kg is set for vertical firing. If the exhaust speed is 1000 meter per second, exhaust speed 1000 meter per second is nothing but velocity is given. Then mass of the gas that must be ejected per second to supply the thrust needed to overcome the weight of the rocket. It's a beautiful question. First, just I will try to visualize the problem. See what the data here. It's a rocket problem concept. The rocket is set ready for vertical firing. This is the rocket symbol. When how it is possible? When gases rushes out from this one, yes, then it will give the upward motion. For this, it has to do two things. Number one, by the ejection of the gases with that speed as action, as a reaction, it should push the air and it has to move up. For this, it has to overcome its own weight. Number one. Number two, if needed, it has to supply the necessary acceleration also. In case one, we will go. So, what is the here what we need? What is the upward thrust needed to overcome the weight of the rocket? To overcome the weight of the rocket. That is why just I am relating the weight and the upward thrust. That means here force F is equal to mg. Shall we go for this one? Because it has to overcome its own weight only. So, what is the minimum thrust required? Means just it is equivalent to its weight. Now, this force can be written as the product of velocity into dm by dt. That is why v into dm by dt is equal to mg. Our job is simply to substitute all the things. What is velocity? Here exhaust speed is equal to how much? 1000 meter per second. So, simply I am writing 1000 meter per second into dm by dt, mass per time. This is required. This. What is this? What is the gas that must be ejected per second? That means amount of mass per time, dm by dt, we are going to calculate. That is equal to weight of this one. What is the weight of this one? It is nothing but mass 6000 into g, you know it, it is 9.8. Very simple and very ordinary calculation. Therefore, from this dm by dt is equal to this is 6000 again into 9.8 already on the right hand side divided by 1000, this becomes 1000 once and 6 times it will get cancelled. So simply we have 6 into 9.8, 6 is 48, 6 9 is 54. Coming to dm by dt, mass by time. Can you give the proper unit for this one? Very simple, mass by time per second. This is the final answer. Check it, check it. Don't run, no for hurry burry. Very casually, very attentively, just receive this problem. Mass 6000 meter per second, then the mass must be per second. For what purpose? To supply the thrust to overcome the weight. That means the rocket has to move, means when it is possible, when I want to jump, I want to take a high jump, when it is possible, I have to push the ground and I have to produce a force which is equal to my weight. That is equal to mg. What is the force needed? F. It is equivalent to mg. Why it is mg only in this case? We have to overcome the weight only. So how we are writing this F? It is nothing but V into dm by dt. This is from F is equal to ma. This ma can be written in two manners. One thing is mass remains constant in the place of acceleration, rate of change of velocity dv by dt, and in the other case velocity remains constant, mass is varying with the time dm by dt. So it is apt for this case. That's why I am substituting the value of F as V is equal to dm by dt, that is equal to mg. Okay, then simply substitution. Velocity it is 1000. For as it is dm by dt, I am writing this value. Mass 6000 kg. It is in the data into g 9.8. After calculation, we got this value 58.8 kg per second. That means to overcome its weight, gases should be rushed out, ejected, that is called, at a rate of 58.8 kg per second. That means per second 58.8 kgs of gas should be ejected out from the rocket to overcome its weight. For example, just it's a small change. In addition to the force, the thrust, nothing but force required to overcome the weight. For example, if we want to give some upward acceleration to this body, that means we will consider the sub case of this one. That means it is a special case. How it is? What I am going to do is, in the above problem, what is the thrust required? What is the thrust required for what? For give an acceleration, to give an acceleration of say 10.2 meter per second square. That means here the force is used only to overcome its weight, but in this problem, in addition to overcome the weight, it has to supply an acceleration of 10.2 meter per second square, 10.2. Then how is it? Very simple. Think on your own with the theoretical knowledge. Very often I am hearing a comment, sir, I know the theory, sir, but I am poor in problems or in doing problems, sir. Nothing, there is no chance. All are together, it's a bunch. You have to establish in your mind yourself. Physics problems are difficult, self-hypnotizing. See, just using what is Newton's laws only till now, this. No more formula, this. No shortcut, very simple and ordinary thing. In the previous case, we calculate what is the force required to overcome its weight. Here, above problem, what is the thrust for giving an acceleration of 10.2 meter per second square to the rocket? That's why here the force required has equal to two things. Number one, weight of this body, plus it has to give some upward acceleration A, that means it should move upwards with an acceleration A. See now, see this is nothing but again same, the concept is V into dm by dt is equal to m into g plus A. This, it is nothing but m means, okay, I will take one more step, g plus A, this is 9.8 plus, so what is the required acceleration for the rocket? 10.2, that's why I am writing 10.2. What is the value of V? Since it is the previous data, we have to write the value as 1000, so 1000 into dm by dt is equal to, what is the mass? It is nothing but 6000 kg, 6000 into 9.8 plus 10.2, nothing but 20. Last step, dm by dt value, dm by dt is equal to 6000 into 20 divided by, this is 1000. This 1000 gets cancelled 6 times, 6 into 20, 120, again mind it, it is nothing but dm by dt. Automatically the unit becomes kg per second. That means this is the amount of the gas ejected per second, so that it has to overcome its weight and also to give an upward acceleration, that is A. Okay, now this is the total thrust required. Fine, a small change. Next one we calculated only what is the thrust required to overcome its weight. Yes, to overcome the thrust and also to give upward acceleration. That means I am adding this to this. This is a type of question. One more example, basing on same Newton's laws of motion. See this problem, a little bit difference here, and it need your IQ. A balloon has 5 grams of air in it. So balloon, general balloon means this one, this. Okay, this is filled with the gases. This is a balloon. Okay. So what is the problem? Come to problem. When a small hole is pierced into it, that means just we make a hole using a pin like this. Then what happened? It is everyone's experience. Then air inside it will rush out with a certain velocity. Means what happened? Gradually the air in it comes out. After certain time, the entire gas inside it will comes out. Air will comes out. This. That is given in the problem. When a small hole is pierced into it, air escapes at uniform velocity of 4 centimeter per second. With what velocity air is coming out here? Air is coming out now. With what velocity it is coming out? With the VVS. With the velocity VVS. So what we want? If the balloon shrinks completely in 2.5 seconds, balloon shrinks completely. Try to understand the problem. This. Getting the total information from the problem is 50% of worth doing the problem. First, try to understand. That means if it continues, that means if yellow, the air rushes out with a certain velocity, it is noticed that it completely shrinks in 2.5 seconds. 2.5 seconds, it completely shrinks. That means the total gas, so called 5 grams, will come out. Well, what do you need? Then the mean force acting on the balloon will be, definitely experiences some force. What is the force experienced? That means, honestly speaking, here we are going to calculate what is the force. So I am putting question mark here. At the same time, what else given in the problem? See, with what velocity air rushes out to sea? With what velocity? 2.5. No, it is 4. Yes, 4 centimeter per second. Centimeter. Be careful. It is in CJ system, mind it. 4 centimeter per second. So FV, what we want and what relation we have? Force F is equal to V into dm by dt. That means we know direct the value of V. If we substitute the value of dm by dt, we can solve this problem. This is a way of thinking this. what's given in the data, what formula relates these factors, and from where we have this formula. This is from Newton's laws clearly. F is equal to ma Vm dm by dt. What do you mean by dm by dt? What do you mean by dm by dt? Mass ejecting per second. Shall I write like this? M per mass, time means per second. What is the mass ejected per second? For this we have a small hint. How much total time to exhaust 5 grams of air? 2.5. That means in 2.5 seconds, totally 5 grams of air was ejected out. That's why what is the gas ejected in 1 second? That means mass ejected, mass of the gas ejected per second. Ejected per second. Come on, this is given by what is the total mass? 5 divided by in how much time it is totally exhausted? 2.5. 5 by 2.5 nothing but 2. Okay, na? It is nothing but dm by dt value. That means given dm by dt is equal to 2. Can write the unit mass. That means gram per time. This means second. Simply substitute this in the standard equation to calculate the force. Force is equal to V. It is nothing but 4 into dm by dt. It is nothing but 2. It is nothing but 4 to 8. Mind one thing. Here all the units from the beginning, centimeter per second velocity, it is CGS unit, and total mass 5 grams. Gram is CGS unit of mass. So this force should also be expressed in CGS unit. It is not Newton, mind it, it is dyne. It is dyne because Newton is the SI unit, whereas the dyne is the CGS unit of this one. Okay, now once again. So be cool, receive the problem into mind first, number 1, and try to write what is the data given in the problem, then think over which connects these factors. That is the sequence of attempting the problem. It's not attempting, attack the problem. You attack on the problem. See, a balloon has 5 grams of air in it. When a small hole is pierced into it, air escapes at uniform velocity of 4 centimeter per second. If the balloon shrinks completely in 2.5 seconds, balloon shrinks completely means it's a technical word. That means total 5 grams of air will rush out. What is the mean force acting on this will be? So the data force we have to calculate, velocity is given, the formula connects these factors is this one. For this dm by dt means mass ejected per second we have to calculate. Mass of the gas ejected per second is equal to total mass of 5 grams divided by in what time 2.5, it is nothing but 2, unit is gram per second. Force is equal to V into dm by dt, nothing but 4 into 2 is the right answer. Let us consider one more example. Here law of conservation of momentum. Just recollect the statement of law of conservation of momentum. According to the law of conservation of momentum, the total momentum before impact is equal to total momentum after impact. It is derived from Newton's laws of motion, which is nothing but when no external force acts on a system, the total momentum of the system remains constant. Okay, now let us come to the problem now. It is a very good application. A ball moving with a velocity of 6 meter per second strikes an identical stationary ball. After collision, each ball moves at an angle of 30 degrees with the original line of motion. What are the speeds of the ball after collision? It's a very good question. See, I am trying to visualize this problem to the possible extent. Here 2 balls are there. Let us suppose this is first ball. Since these are identical, no need of writing M1 and M2, both are same. Let this is first ball and this is second ball. It is initially at rest. Let us suppose U1 is equal to 0, and its velocity is u2, it's moving in this direction. When it strikes the ball, both the balls moves making an angle 30 degrees with whom? With the original line of motion. This is the original line of motion. They are moving making 30 degrees with the line of motion. Okay? If you are clear with the content, with the problem, with the data, then I will switch over to the solution part. Very casually, be relaxed, be cool. Definitely you can do it with our basic knowledge. See this one, a ball hits another ball, identical ball, means both have same mass, which is at rest. That's why I am considering its initial velocity as 0 and its initial velocity is u2. After collision, what happened? Both are moving in this direction. One ball is moving in this direction, other ball is, let us suppose this is first ball and this is second ball. These two are moving in this direction. Since they are making certain angle with the line of action, sorry, we have to resolve this momentum in both mutually perpendicular axes. That means actually after collision the velocities are v1 and v2 series, v1 and v2. So what is the momentum? Actually m2 v2, I am resolving this m2 v2 in two directions. m2 v2 cos theta along the line of action, automatically for the first one m1 v1 cos theta, and m2 v2 sin theta, it is perpendicular to the line. If this is a line of motion, this is perpendicular to this. Like this I am resolving m2 v2 sin 30, m1 v1 sin 30. That initially it is at rest, u1 is equal to 0, it is moving with u2. After collision, these two flies off, this is the direction of the first ball and second ball, both are making 30 degrees with the line of action, line of motion. If m1 v1 and m2 v2 are the final momenta, just I am resolving this m1 v1 into m1 v1 cos 30, m1 v1 sin 30. That means in the horizontal and in the perpendicular. This is also same in the horizontal and the perpendicular. For simplicity's sake, we will do one thing. It is better to of momentum both in the horizontal and in the vertical direction. Okay, are you following? Let us apply law of conservation. What is law of conservation of momentum? The total momentum before collision is equal to total momentum after collision. In which direction we are considering first? I am considering in the vertical, say in the vertical direction. That means applying law of conservation of momentum. Momentum in which direction? In the perpendicular direction. In the perpendicular direction. Perpendicular to whom? To the line of motion. Perpendicular direction. Come on, consider. So it's a very notable thing here is in the initial position before collision, it has no vertical motion, no vertical velocity. That's why m1 actual formula is m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to after collision m1 v1 plus m2 v2 says. Now we have to apply the original values. What is m1? m1 and m2 are same, both are identical. That's why m into 0, because the first ball is initially at rest, second ball is moving with certain velocity, it is moving horizontally. That means in the vertical direction it has no velocity. That's why both are 0. Again m2 also 0. Coming to m1 means m. What is the vertical component of velocity? Consider this one. What is the vertical? This is a vertical. And coming to this one, this is a vertical axis. So m1 v1 sin 30. If we consider this one as positive, automatically this one becomes negative. That's why it is nothing but minus m2 v2 sin 30. I think you are clear. That means initially they have no velocity in the vertical. That's why I am keeping simply 0, 0. After collision, one is moving upwards, one is moving downwards. If downward is positive, upward automatically becomes negative. From this, what we can say? M1 V1 sin 30 is equal to M2 V2 sin 30. Okay, now very clear? Since these two are identical, M1 and M2 are same. This and sin 30, that's 1 by 2, that is also same. So what is the inference done? V1 is equal to V2. It is one hint you can use during the derivative part. Okay, this is nothing but V1 is equal to V2. In the same way, if you receive this problem properly, my question is, can you apply the law of conservation of momentum in the parallel direction? In the previous case, perpendicular direction we apply. In the parallel direction, if you observe carefully, these two are in the same direction. This one also in this direction, this one also in this direction. You apply the law of conservation of momentum in the parallel direction. See, I will try to give this one. See, what is the case? M1 into 0, because this is initially a test, plus M2 into it is U2. Okay, this is equal to M1 V1 cos 30 plus M2 V2 cos 30. In the previous case vertical, that's why I am considering sign of this. Here it is in the parallel, in the same direction, M2 cos 30. Only for your understanding sake, I am mentioning M1, M2 like this. Since these vertical bars, no need of writing M1, M2, all are same, that is M only. Okay. Coming to this, it is nothing but M into what this is U2 is equal to, here see, M1 V1 cos 30 plus M2 V2 cos 30, M1 is equal to M2, and moreover V1 is equal to V2. That's why this value totally we can write 2 M1 V1 cos 30. Is it or not? Once again, M1 is equal to M2, V1 is equal to V2. Already we prove it. That's why instead of writing M1 V1 cos 30 plus M2 V2 cos 30, I will write only one term 2 M1 V1 cos 30. Are you comfortable? See, from this, and this mass is also same, will get cancelled this one. Then what is the value of this? What is the value of this V1? V1 is equal to, it is nothing but U by 2 into cos 30. Now I am going to substitute the value of U here with what velocity it is moving? 6. That's why this is 6 by, for 2 I am writing as is 2 into cos 30, nothing but root 3 by 2. Ordinary calculation. 6 by root 3, 6 can be written as 2 into 3, 1 root 3 gets cancelled. That's why 2 root 3 is the answer. Since it is velocity, we will write meter per second. That's all. This is the final value. Since V1 is equal to V2 already proved, no need of writing the second value. V1, both are moving with same. That means if it is 2 root 3 meter per second, automatically this one also 2 root 3 meter per second.